Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of El Otaku. Today with us we have a very special guest. She voices Sadeena / Nadia and Wyndia in The Rising of the Shield Hero, Goldclaw in Cutie Honey, Soul Weaver Leon in Paladin's Champions of the Realm, and Gullveig and Heather, yes, in Fire Emblem Heroes. So please give it up for Alice Himora.
Hi!
I corrected myself in the end. I was like, wait.
You did good. That was great.
Alice, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Let's kick with one of your latest work in the anime world. Of course, we had the order of the day, talking about Shield Hero Season 3, where you have few important characters in this series. We surprised me that you have more than one key characters. I'm talking about Sadeena. Sadeena, one of the latest waifu in the world, and also Wyndia. So, for those who haven't seen Shield Hero yet, Alice, how would you describe this series?
Season 3 or just overall?
You know what? A little bit overall, and then Season 3 you want. Feel free to drop spoilers. Don't worry about it.
No? Oh God.
Drop the spoiler.
In a one sentence, guy gets isekai'd into a video game and is trying his best. I think for what it is, I think it tries to deal with the things in video games that we don't normally like bat an eye at. So like one of the major things is like slavery, a big one in that show. In video games, I feel like in that context, you know, people would be like, oh, it's just part of the video game. But then when you're actually you're living it, you're like, this is fucked up. This is really bad. So it follows that. And this season is like kind of circling back to the first season a little bit, I would say.
You know what? You're right on that point. For those who a little bit more content on Shield Hero, one of my favorite anime series. Season 1 was a piece of art. One of the best first episodes of almost 90 minutes, where we went through the real roller coaster of emotion, from excited, happiness, deception, angry, and it gave place to one of the characters that we hate back then, and we still hate it. Talking about, I forgot her name now. I know her
name's Bitch. Didn't she remember?
No, just Bitch.
Like, I'm not gonna say it. Like, who cares about her real name?
That is their name.
It's true.
So definitely, yes, basically. But this multi, I was looking for a
multi.
I was gonna say multi, but I was like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but basically, it's one of the most hated characters, like in all animes. And Shield is doing a lot of bad stuff around, which is part of the season 3. When you see what she's doing, come on, it's like she does not have anything else better to do with her life.
It's freaking right, because season 1 we hate like with all our heart. So bad that we have, when we go to convention, we have a panel called half a different name, but the main simplified name character that we love to hate, and she's on one of the top lists. So every time we say her name, everybody's like, they go crazy. That character we all love to hate. And yeah, you're right. Season 1 was a great season. Season 2 was kind of odd. We have to admit it. That arc of the turtles was kind of, it slowed down the pace. At the end, it gave a good vibe. But season 3 technically had to recover from that season 2, which did it well, and so well that we're heading back again. Then preset and introduced 2 new characters. Sadeena, which is one of the main roles to the arcs, and also with Wyndia, who also gives a great episode. For those, how would you describe Sadeena? To start with, Alice.
Sadeena is like one of those characters where you think you have her figured out, like, oh, she's a waifu mother, but then you're like, oh, she's been doing stuff behind the scenes the entire time. She has her own motives, and I think she does a really good job of playing a part for everybody else to like, so she remains unassuming, which I have to appreciate that.
I have to admit, I love the memes about Sadeena. Like, you didn't love me like this. Don't try to love me like this now.
Don't love me yet. Yeah. Don't love me in my Orca form.
Exactly, because spoiler, she transformed from an Orca to a waifu.
Yeah,
So,
she's a beast, man. This woman.
Main
in that
role.
case.
And also one of the other characters on the series with Wyndia, which gave us 3 or 4 episodes full of great action and story. How would you describe Wyndia character?
Wyndia, I think, is a good example of how they've tried to bring back elements of season 1 into this season. She is a brat, I would say, but she has a reason to be a brat. The spoiler, the sword hero literally killed her dad, and then they have to kill him like 3 more times, basically. So, honestly, she has a right to be a little whiny, in my opinion. But she's, I think, how do I put this? A good circle back and understanding the process of both guilt and forgiveness.
I didn't realize, you're right, they killed her 3 times, the poor dad. In life, in zombie, in zombies last revive incarnations, hero. So
Yeah.
No.
I feel like people forget that.
And the important part that he's still around there. He's like,
it's not gone.
yeah, he's immortal, you know? That's why.
It might be a 4th time. So who knows at this point?
Yeah, there might be a
Come
fourth coming up.
Come on.
No, but going back to series, this is a great series, great art. We knew a lot of new characters. We part of the story. Many times we see anime series with characters that they're just background characters, but these new characters are being part of the story. So, go Evan.
And you got it there, Alex. I think the most important part with Shield Hero 3 is that basically it grabs again the idea of bringing characters around Naofumi that support him in a way that is like different for each case. And I think that's something that was a little bit lost on the 2nd season. And now on the 3rd season, basically they recovered that essence of the anime and they're putting it back onto the series. And that's what I think is, and again, each character got their own stuff, which is also important. When you think about Wyndia, when you think about Sadeena, they are 4 developed characters, but they just bring new stuff into the series.
I mean, I can't get over about the things that Motoyasu, the spare here, is still calling now Naofumi dad. You want to be family. That's kind of great line over there, which I'm like, yeah, that's a great line over there. If you want to get there, let's stay away from that great line. But Alice, so being this season 3 with characters, new character, technically 2 new characters with important role, how do you handle to not mix these 2 characters, their voice or the role, so doesn't create a confusion? That I didn't even notice it was you being the same season, in the same season, the 2 voices.
Well, for me, they're super different. I think, if anything, we really tried to make Wyndia a little definitely higher than Sadeena, so that way you couldn't even, like, mistake the 2. It's certainly weird to talk to myself. There's actually a couple scenes where Sadeena's talking to the kids, and the kids are me. That's me. So it's weird listening to it playback, but when you're in the session, they do a really good job of separating the characters, like, who do you want to do first, or let's work on so-and-so first, and you record all the way through with them, and then you can do the other characters, so that way there's no like back and forth. You're not losing voice print. You're not out of the scene. But I think when we were workshopping voices for Sadeena, we wanted something more mature. Honestly, I kept accidentally getting too sexy. If that makes sense.
I'm like, wow, there's such a thing.
Yeah. There's So that's actually toned down. And
Damn,
for Wyndia, it's just a higher register.
Now we hear like I need to. If I had the chance to interview the director, I would be like, director, why didn't you let it be that tone? Just let it be. But of course, we are aware that they're respecting the original, and that question wouldn't be for the English director. It would be for the Japanese casting. Hey, why didn't let it be more spicier? But again, we always moving forward to another anime series. HIDIVE produced, talking about the remake of Cutie Honey, which had the character of Gold Claw. For those who haven't seen this masterpiece remake, how would you describe it?
It is wacky. It is not safe for work. And it is super fun. I loved my director. He was just so like, let's do whatever we want. Let's just go for it. It doesn't have to be a 1-to-1. And I don't know if anybody's here has seen Cutie Honey. It's one of those animations where it's just with the lip flaps. So he was like, let's just go for it. It's not gonna like, even the Japanese was like that. Like, it doesn't exactly go 1-to-1. That's just the animation style. So we were allowed to have a lot of fun in that. But yeah, it is wacky, and I loved it. It was actually my first anime role ever, so I'm really appreciative to that.
So how do you feel? How you felt being walked through the anime world with so wacky series, so interesting because we have series
and not safe for work.
Yeah, not safe for work. Let's start with that.
Listen, I knew what Cutie Honey was. I didn't watch the OVA because I didn't want to spoil myself. Because when I go in there, I kind of want to figure it out as I go along. I know some people like to be really, I don't know what the word is. It's
loyal?
I don't know. Like prepared. There we go. That's
okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm really bad at talking, ironically. So as I'm on the screen watching this, I'm like, did she just like open and then they flew out? And they did. So it was honestly, I'm happy that was my first jump in the pool for anime. That was so fun. I didn't feel pressured.
Honestly, that description that you said right now, as someone who hasn't watched Cutie Honey yet, because now I'm gonna be like, okay, I gotta go watch this. But as someone who hasn't watched it yet, and that description you just said, that something opens and another things come out, I'm like, what opens and what comes out of where and what comes out? And that's my intrigue right now. And I'm like, okay, let me go watch Cutie Honey because I need answers, like quick.
Let's think about Cutie Honey, and let me try to defend the series. It's from Hideaki Anno, that's the director, and you know that everything from Gainax, Tohei, Hideaki Anno got their own fingerprint, and I think that's what we're discussing here because it's still something that is iconic from the 70s. Almost, I think it's the manga that is a long history behind this anime. And when you think about Hideaki Anno, he's crazy doing stuff like in general. Well, Neon Genesis Evangelion, he's the director of that series. Therefore, it's something like you need to consider when you look at the series.
And
no
you'll be surprised. No wonder. Evangelion, of course.
That's his favorite by far.
A lot of fan service.
No, Alice, this is not his favorite. This is addiction. It's at the worry level. You need to
like for Neon Genesis.
Just 200 times looking at the anime.
How many times you watch the series already?
Probably, and I think that's accurate. Over 200 times, like full. But I've been looking at this series since it started. Come on, It's not that much.
No,
I mean,
of course not.
I can't quite argue with that because I'll rewatch like Adventure Time like over 100 times. Like I'm pretty sure I'm their biggest fan on like streaming services.
And for my surprise, this series, Cutie Honey, the remake, the cast, the English voice cast is a elite one. You can see that they didn't bring any random newbie voice actor. They brought professional people with skill, experience in the voice acting. So,
Besides me.
No.
which is great. Which is great.
I'm very new.
That's the best way to grow. Putting the pressure next to you. Like, you swim or you're going to swim.
Yeah. I think the director said, so I don't know if you've heard the tone of voice I had to have in that. It was like all the way down here. So that was what I was doing the entire time. And it was funny. And I think that's why I got cast, because I was funny in the audition.
Did that not hurt you? Like, did that not hurt your voice going so deep or low?
No, it's just the bottom of my register.
Yeah, but that's still impressive, actually.
It was a little gruff.
Come on.
A little gruff because she's like a
little.
Gold Claw's very.
By the way, just parenthesis. So I'm looking for this series. I'm watching before the recording, looking to the trailers and everything around. And I'm like, oh, this looks kind of crazy. It looks kind of fun. And suddenly I see the at the end, the commercial, the Blu-ray, all the DVD and the poster. And they have like hearts covering the girls. And I had like, whoa, what happened here? I went from movie to poster with hearts covering their chest.
Then you know it's spicy for real.
Etchy.
It's
It's
definitely
etchy.
spicy. It's spicy and wacky. So it's very entertaining.
Which sounds like a great series to relax after a bad day of work or hard day of work. When you live by yourself, or when you don't live at your parents' house, or you're by yourself in a room, don't play this in the family room. You have kids and grandma, you do like, what the hell my family is watching here now?
Grandma, maybe. Grandma might go, look at that.
That's how you do
know
it?
that could happen. Interesting.
Something new to try out.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's like, Grandma.
But talking about you, because Alice, you surprised me with that register when you went with your voice. I was not expecting to hear that voice coming from you. How do you meet it to this world of voice acting?
The pandemic. I was originally training to be a PA, which is a physician assistant, which is basically like a doctor, but you didn't go like through the 4-year and then residency, or a step down from them. And then during the pandemic, I didn't have anything I could do. And so one day I went to my partner and was like, you know what I really wanted to do with my life was act. And he was like, do it? Like, I don't know why you're telling me. And so I ended up still on like the track that I was going to do PA. But I was just going to do this for fun. As I just started on Casting Call Club and did some Webtoon dubs. And then I realized I really liked it. And I stopped the PA school and I started VA, like full time.
I was going to ask you, Webtoon dub, so aren't Webtoons like for online comics? I didn't know they had dubs. Do they have like do they have shows? Because I've only ever seen like from their app. Of course, I haven't like delved too deep into it, but I know like they have a lot of web comics. Do they actually have shows, or is it dubbing for the web comics?
So from my understanding, you can have like a webcomic dubbing studio where you ask like the owner of the webcomic if you can dub it. The one that I was in was called Cursed Princess Club. It was just like a fan dub. No one was getting paid or anything, but we got permission from the creator Lambcat, and they were like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. And Michelle Renee, who goes by, I think, Giggles also on YouTube, is still uploading those. So you can actually hear me occasionally.
You said the Cursed
cool.
Princess?
Yeah, Cursed Princess Club. It's, short description is Gwendolyn is the ugly sister, and everybody thinks she's cursed to be ugly, and she ends up joining this club for cursed princesses, where they, all are cursed for some reason. Like, one looks really old, one turns into a spider, one is just a lobster. She was a lobster, and now she's a human with lobster claws, and she just wants to be back to a lobster. It's very funny. I love that.
Okay, that sounds
comic.
That sounds very interesting, not gonna lie.
Right. Yes, it's amazing. I played Lorena, which is the flower princess. She's not cursed. I also played Nell, who is like Rage in princess form. And then I played Jolie, who doesn't have any eyes. She has like a void in her skull. So she's like, oh, you dropped something, and gives it to you. It's great.
Yeah, because all I'm thinking is, who comes up with this? But that's great because it's so
Lamb Cat. I love that. And it's such a good comic too, because it dives into like, what does it mean to be like ugly? Like, how does that affect you? And how does it affect you when things are out of your control? In the other princess's case, love, of course. There's Prince Charmings everywhere. And political debates as well. So,
did you took ever a course of drama or anything? Like, or you just start doing your job as an actress? Because it's actually, I think, the first time we are interviewing someone that just go into there without any like previous experience, like doing this. How was that part of you? It's like you took any course. What did you did to prepare yourself for this?
So when I was little, I always wanted to be an actress, and we got like into one of those agencies, but it was one of those scam ones. So then we never did that again. And then I grew up too afraid to do anything. In community college, I took Acting 101 as my like extra credit, like the art credit that you need. And that was, I think, in like 2017. And then I kind of just, when 2020 hit, I just kind of jumped in because it's just, I don't know how to say it, but like it just feels right to do. So I don't feel like I'm actually working when I'm doing it.
Yeah, but you were exposed to all this stuff, and basically all your life, and it was like a hobby for you. And now, basically, you're just feeling you're moving through and getting more experience through that hobby. And basically, you're just getting paid because you're doing something you like at this point.
If you don't mind,
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't mind, but this is the first time I hear this. What is a scam agency? And you can tell about that thing, because I never heard this story before. Like, scam agency, like, whoa, there's such things. And what's that about?
It's one of those things where they're like, oh, if you give us like a bunch of money, we'll put your kid on our roster or our agency and we'll give them work. There was no work.
Was that in New York? That sounds
money.
like New York.
Yeah. It was in New
Yeah, okay.
New York City.
Definitely sounded like a New York thing for sure.
And like no one in my family is in the arts, so we didn't know I could just like go to an acting school and do it that way. So, and like I was too scared to do anything too, because you know, you don't get blamed for it, but you hear it like, oh, we wasted so much money. So it just scared me. And then I don't know, puberty, you have stage fright living when you have puberty, so that did not help at all.
I always say,
speaking of which, can you share that first experience behind the microphone, and how it felt to like voice a character, like for the first time? Like, were you like super nervous, or were you like, I got this?
Ooh, no, I'm nervous. I'm nervous even when I go into my sessions now. Like when I was doing Shield here, I would get in and be like, let's go, let's do this, Lucian. For the first time doing the character, I don't know, it's hard because a lot of the time I just auditioned on like Casting Call Club. So I don't know if that necessarily counted. When I came to doing the Webtoon dub, because that really was the first thing that I ever did, I was my own director in a sense. Like you would take a bunch of takes and you'd send it off, and then if they didn't like any of them, ask you to re-record. But it was just fun. It's really, really fun to play pretend. It's really fun to get into that character, speak as somebody else. You're just a conduit in that sense. You're just going at it. And it's always really rough at the beginning of a session, even now. Like I said, like I'm like, oh, I got the booth sweats. But it's once you get into it, you just relax and it's great.
At what point do you got the skill to change your voice to model, like go? You were saying that going that low, and when do you learn those skills? Do you have to at high school, or by yourself, or how was it?
I don't know. I know I definitely could go higher, and it was easier for me to scream when I went higher. And when I was a cheerleader, my voice was higher because I was screaming. So I don't know if maybe that contributed. I was like a really big nerd in the Vocaloid community. I had my own, UTAU and everything, so I just played around with my voice then. So maybe it just kind of, I don't know, just playing on the playground and you got strong that way.
You learn by yourself and you practice a lot. That's what I am hearing here.
And
yeah.
last question.
I mean, I talk to myself normally, so that might be a problem.
And last question before we move forward with your family. You come from a family, mother from Puerto Rico, family from your mother from Puerto Rico, and for your dad from Italy. We always say Puerto Rican family, they're not very supportive to the arts. Well, I don't know. In your case, how was the support from your family having this mix of culture for this path, that career?
My family, when I told my mom at first, she was like, "But you're still doing medicine, right?"
That's Puerto Rico. Yep.
Mija, you're still doing that, right? And it's like, well, she's a nurse. She's actually a teaching nurse now. Like she teaches other people. So she was like all for it. She's like, my little baby's a CNA. But and then when I told them I was doing this, her initial reaction, she wasn't like saying, "Don't do that. That's stupid." I don't think she would ever say that to me unless I was doing hard drugs. Like she's usually very. She's usually like, okay, do what you want. No, I'm still here in case that goes, south. But when I think it really started changing when I told her I was doing it full time and I was showing how much, I was doing, whether that be money or just work. And she was like, oh, I don't care anymore then. Like if you're fine, I don't care.
I always asked about this because you'll be surprised how much the answer, the experience of every guest that we have here. We hear the story from Puerto Rico, from Central, Southwest, and North America, from Mexico. All family reactions are different, especially by the culture. Mm-hmm. But we always enjoy laughing here about, because somehow we always relate about this. But now moving from the anime to another world on voice acting, talking about the video game, which sometimes we won't know which is, they're the same, are they different? There's anything different from the voice acting in video games and anime? And by the way, some of the roles in the video game, we have Fire Emblem here with Gullveig Yeah, say it. You can say it.
Gullveig and Heidr.
Thank you. And Paladins champion of the realm with
Soul Weaver Leon.
and Genshin Impact. Sorry, guys. I'm not
You
going
gotta
to
care because it's only saying I cannot do that. We
No.
cannot even try.
I recognize my limits. It's not there.
Okay, yeah. With Gullveig and Heidr in Fire Emblem Heroes, and then Soul Weaver Leon Paladins, Champions of the Realm. How has it been? How is it different when you're voicing a character for a video game versus an anime character?
So it definitely depends on the genre of the game. For a more like interactive, immersive game, you want like a more natural read. For a lot of the like Paladins, for example, that's just a very fun read. Like she's making like bone puns every 5 seconds, you know? So it definitely depends. For anime, I think you actually are kind of limited because you have to match the flaps. You have to match that. You have to make the dialogue work, which sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's awkward. And like we'll change it, we'll like regionalize it, I think is the right term. I don't. But you try to make it sound more natural, but sometimes it just you feel restricted. Even if it does come out fine, you feel like a little bit restricted. For video games, you typically do not need that unless you're doing ADR for that video game. You typically have free reign to say it exactly however you want, which could mean elongating a vowel or like missing a consonant or really hitting a consonant, but you don't get as freedom in anime.
Question: what's ADR?
Yes, you.
Thank you.
ADR.
What's ADR?
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Audio dialogue replacement. It's where you have the animation already done and you have to match what's already played, versus prelay, which is where you have that freedom. So like think Adventure Time, where they have the storyboard out, but they're recording it however they want, and then the animation matches up to how they said it. So ADR is just replacing exactly what was said.
So anime is considered ADR?
That's for the game.
Unless it's a prelay anime, which is typically not a thing.
Hold it. Ben, I feel like I'm in class right now. So
Actually, let's talk. She's really good at explaining things and bringing good topics into conversation. I think this. No, honestly, that's really nice. I think one of the first time Ankara can probably speak a little bit because she's teaching like now. Like you need to bring this topic and bring the concept up front, and I think that's what it is getting now.
I'm enjoying this. No, I'm enjoying this. This is like I feel like I'm in class right now. So okay, so ADR is when you're replacing what's ready in the voice. So anime is considered ADR or not?
Correct, especially if it's dubbed. So like in the Japanese, I don't actually know if a lot of Japanese anime is prelay. So they record, the voice actors do it, and then the anime is built around that. Or if the anime is already done and they're doing it like that. But for dubbing, anything dubbed is typically ADR.
Got it.
So that goes for movies too.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Edwin. Anime go both ways. Like I can go be the animation first and then the voice.
No. I think the tricky part is that it depends on the manga, and sometimes the manga, they try to guide people regarding how it's going to be expressed something. Like actually, for example, One Piece, Oda try a lot to start like with the expressions of the people. Right now, there is something on the manga about Kuma, and basically he's trying to put some expression that he's expecting to be that on the actual anime. Therefore, that's one scenario. I cannot recall like other cases like in the other way. Probably there are some examples. Code Geass is an example all the way because Code Geass did not have any manga, but I don't have other example at this point.
And Attack on Titan, I remember some video of the voice actor of Mikasa and Anchorman Levi when they're like speaking, they have like a big screen in white, black and white, just draw the character, what's happening, like a frame second, very premature.
Yeah, if it's like that, that's probably prelay type of thing, where they're gonna animate whatever the actor ended up doing. And then when it gets dubbed into English, it's already done, so they're not going to reanimate it for you. So you have to then match what's on the screen.
How would you feel more pressure as an actor on an ADR situation or a relay scenario?
For me personally, I prefer like a prelay. I can say it however I want, just because I like the freedom to do that. Some people, they don't care at all, and that's fine. There's no wrong preference. For me, I would prefer prelay, but that's not what anime ever is for English dubs. So, but I'm happy with it.
Well, it's not yet. Who knows how industry is going to keep changing? I mean, in a very, very far future. Just maybe. But anyway, Alice, thank you so much for joining us today. For those who are considering joining the voice acting industry or dub, any word of advice for those youngster people who are thinking about it?
Just go for it. I think that's the hardest thing to do is when you're first starting, you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. If you want like a step-by-step like walkthrough almost, Kira Buckland has like a guide, like a whole guide listing it out for you. Where to start, what equipment to get, all the nitty gritty. Especially when you're a remote talent, it's super, super, super hard. And it's really on you to go out there and find work for yourself, put yourself out there, and really show people that you want to do this, you are castable, and you work well. I would say a big tip to have is be directable, because if you're not directable, you're so annoying.
That remind me.
That goes for life, honestly, because people who can't take constructive criticism or direction, you're like, you know, we're social, we're at work, we have to work together to come up with something or do something or just achieve something in general, period. So people who are like hard-headed like that, you can't work with them. So yeah, that goes for everybody.
Wasn't
and like
Annie...
directors talk.
Yeah.
You're not in this.
No.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, directors talk. So if you're being rude in your session, you're like, well, I thought that take was amazing. They're not going to want to hire you ever again. You need to put your ego outside the booth. You need to understand that even if you were fully in that take, they might still want something different, and you have to accept that, and you have to move on from that too. You can't hold a grudge either.
I think it was Hannah Alia, one of the latest episodes. She was saying, be this person, but don't be a. And she said it like multiple times, like, and important, don't be a. So now that you said it, I never crossed. It's hard to imagine people with that attitude, especially against a director. You brought that example. It really shocked me. Like, whoa, that really happens?
Yes, and like directors are even like aware of this themselves. They're like, I'm so sorry, I'm asking you to do this again. And I'm like, no, keep doing it. That's why I'm here. Keep telling me what to do if you're not getting it. But like people, unfortunately, do take it to heart a lot. And they think either that what they produced was good enough, or at the end of the day, they're like, oh, that was awful. I kind of lean into that, but I try to like leave it in the booth so that way when I come back, I can marinate in it. But I think it's super, super, super important to listen to your director, because if you're not directable and you're not being nice, like surprisingly, it's very easy to be a dick. It's really hard to be compassionate. Be kind.
I love the word. Thank you so much, Ali. For those who haven't followed you yet, with social media, they can follow you.
Yes. Twitter. I'm super bad at social media, but you can find me on Twitter or Instagram. It's just my name.
Got it. And like always, guys, go down to the description of this video. You're going to find Ali's links on the description to her Twitter, sounds better, or Instagram, to her social media. And for us, like always, you can we kindly ask you for subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel and all our other social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, please, TikTok, Twitch, whatever.
Everywhere.
All of our social media.
YouTube.
Everyone.
YouTube, please, YouTube. Go to Google, right? Kokio Otaku will find us, and we'll see you in the episode. Alice, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sayonara.